we have a winger that can play outside back because Tim Weah did it once again this weekend for Lille.
So did I. I did that for decades, guys.
You did that. He actually pushed up a little bit
professionally.
In the 70th minute. But we might be having an issue here at the right back position because Tim Weah, if he could be an option, could make room for somebody else. He likes to get forward. Really just depends on who we're playing against, but that can put some pressure on our resident right backs right now. Is Serginho Dest, who wasn't in the 18 for Milan's 4-0 win over Napoli. Joe Scally, Brian Reynolds, obviously starting to emerge and getting more meaningful time for his club in Belgium. As our resident outside back, Heath, any thoughts on Tim Weah as a legitimate contender for that right back position?
I think it should be, right? I think we're getting to a point where it's again, the pool of the players that we have are getting to a point where like being young and full of potential is not going to cut it in a year from now. We've got a pool of 7 fullbacks that are all 25 or younger. We're now going to need to see who is going to actually be the best one. I don't want us to have a bland pool of players where it's like, well, you know, we could go with one or we could go with the other. I want to see somebody emerge. Obviously, we know Serginho Dest's capabilities and potential, but he's got a lot to do at the club level, and I think that should be part of the discussion. But for Tim Weah, absolutely. If he shows that willingness, I look at Kevin Paredes too. Kevin Paredes is traditionally a winger, but the question has always been, and again, in my conversations with Tony Lepore from US Soccer, was around.
Was that over coffee, or when did you guys
shout out Charlie Davies and you know, the New England area of the country? Is it we're talking Delaware? Is that what we're saying, Charlie? Tony Lepore?
What?
Where's
New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, that's what it is. My alma mater, Southern New Hampshire University.
Delaware.
Go whatever the mascot is. But sorry, that was Joe Biden. Anyways,
I digress.
The point I was trying to make is the same with him. The question around his game for Paredes is, does he have the final product, right? Gets into good spots, can get down, beat you 1v1. Will he have the final product to score and set up assists? We're seeing that development now that can make the argument, yeah, I could take a spot in the midfield as a winger, but as a fullback, you've got to be willing to do that other side of the game. So for Weah, who we know fancies himself an attacker that we like and has been great for the national team, and Paredes, it's, are you willing to accept that for your next level, whether it's at the club or at the national team? That could be where you establish yourself. That could be where you have both sides of the game. It's we just talked about him. Alphonso Davies wasn't a fullback, right? And then you go, okay, but you know what he could be? He could be a fullback for a Champions League winning side or a team that dominates, and he could do both sides of the game. And he just immediately bought into that, right? He's a very difficult player to play against when he's defending. But he also can kill you going forward. And that's what I'd like to see from one of them, accepting that.
Okay.
Not just like
that.
Being a temporary or part-time fill-in where you go, oh yeah, but he can go forward, you know?
So I want to go back here. I'm going to leave the outside back position. I think Heath covered that. Let's go back to striker because I want your thoughts on the future of Jordan Morris. Dude's got 8 goals in 6 games, scored again this weekend, resident number 9 for our podcast, Chuck Wagon. What do you do with someone who's now playing, doing well, scoring a bunch of goals, and do you think he's just done with the national team, or
you go ahead, Charlie?
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about Jordan Morris. I love what
only 28. Only 28.
Yeah, only 28.
Just remember this is going on Twitter. Just remember this is going on Twitter later. Just so you know.
Hey.
But if club form, if club form, I'm just throwing this in because if club form is what we're judging players on, and you can only play in the league that's in front of you, right? Malik Tillman's another option. He can only play against Scottish opponents because that's the league he plays in. Jordan Morris obviously cruising right now and crushing everybody in MLS. He's the Golden Boot winner by 3 goals over the Kloss dude.
He's definitely beasting it.
He's beasting it. So okay, we got plenty of time till the summer. I mean, we have obviously plenty of games over the summer as well. What do you do with this? Given if club form is what we're judging everybody on, his is undeniable at the moment.
Yeah, I would say he's obviously in the form of his career as a striker, and Rui Diaz is obviously not playing, which makes him that much more deadly, right? He has the pace. He's always at a pace. He looks fit. He's hungry. But in terms of being a striker at the international stage, unless he scores 35 goals this year in MLS, and he's the Golden Boot winner, and you have to. He has to be Erling
Haaland of MLS.
Yeah, he has to be in the squad just because the statistics are just mind blowing. He's just not above the other players in front of him on the depth
But
chart.
this would be rating him as a number 9, right? We're not. It's
Yes.
like we're seeing J-Mo
for
as,
sure
as a
not,
number 9, not as a winger here.
For sure, not a winger. For sure, not a winger. But in terms of, I think the finished product being dangerous, scoring goals, he hasn't always been the best at the finish. Right? He'll get a lot of chances because he's busy, but in terms of actually scoring, the game changes internationally. That your influence, the way you play, you can't be one dimensional, and I think that's what hurts Jordan Morris at the international stage.
He did score against El Salvador in El Salvador to salvage that 1-1 draw with the Nations League. I'm just saying, when he gets his opportunity.
Heath, I can't.
Heath doesn't want to comment on it at all. Listen, if I'm speaking for everybody listening or watching, if we're judging players on league form, and if they're playing in Scotland or Belgium or not a top 5 European league, and you're like, let's bring that guy in because he's hot, the MLS should be in that conversation. That's all I'm saying.
All right, okay? but where would you value it?
I'd value him as the number 9. Like, if we're going to see him at this point, I don't think he's got any room as a winger. Right. I think that the guy's a tank. If you've ever seen Jordan Morris up close, the guy's a tank. So
and
how
he's an
can
awesome person?
That too. But leaving that aside, we're only judging him on playing ability. Does he help the team in that spot? We're a little thin in that spot. Is Balogun coming? Is he not? We don't know. And Ricardo Pepi's doing fine. I think that if you wanted to create some value around J-Mo, it would be in the number 9 spot moving forward, because we have way too many wingers, and I think we have clearly better options there. That's all I would say with that. But I just want to make sure that we're just throwing, like, if you're anti-MLS, then you're going to be anti-MLS. It doesn't matter. Like, we're not here to convince you on any of that. But if you are of the mindset that, hey, if guys are playing well for the club, they deserve a look, then you have to consider MLS. You can't just say all the other leagues are cool, but this one isn't. Like, that's kind of bullshit in my opinion.
Spicy Pineapple said, Charlie said he has a great personality.
So
anyway,
I
just wanted to throw that out there. Let's go this.
Wait. I just want to hear before.
Okay, go ahead.
Just in terms of depth at depth chart as a number 9, where's Ricardo Pepi? I mean, sorry, Jordan Morris, because he's not ahead of Ricardo Pepi. That's
he's ahead of Ferreira.
Clear. He's ahead of Jesus Ferreira because Jesus Ferreira is not a real 9. I think we all know that. But is he ahead of? Would you rather play him over Josh Sargent?
I would give him a look. I would give him a look there. The thing about Jordan Morris is that I think that we've seen the same. I think we've seen him as a winger, the ceiling, right? He's never shown that he doesn't have the ability to play on the national team or be impactful. I think we see the ceiling of that versus other players that have a higher ceiling for the future. And that's a different conversation as what do you go with? But as the 9, I would give him a run at that, but it's all opponent based, man. And the way that we play, like, I still think that the only thing I care about is who's my number 1 on the depth chart of the national team as a striker, because the rest of them don't really matter with how we play and the style that we play right now.
Mm-hmm. Although if you're in a World Cup, you need a number 2 or number 3 to come in to change the game, and we didn't have that.
Sure. And he was one of those options that came off the bench, but as a winger, I don't know. I'm just these are facts. Yeah. Now let's talk quickly about Ilie Sanchez, who I love as a player. Played in Kansas City for a long time, grew up in the Barcelona Academy, 32 years old. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Steve Cherundolo, coach of LAFC, that was his best move of last season, him and Thornton, getting Ilie Sanchez into the team, because he just settled everything down. He's such a great piece of connective tissue, as Heath likes to say, to transitioning the team from defense to attack. And he's super smart. He just got his citizenship, so now he's eligible to play for the U.S. 32, we're a little thin in that area, even though Aiden Morris has scored 2 goals. He's favorite player for the crew this past weekend. And
Charlie just left. Charlie literally just left.
I'm just saying.
Are we really bringing this up?
I don't know.
Yeah. Ilie Sanchez at 32.
No,
talking about national team.
I don't want to bring him in.
Let's be real.
Listen, I saw it floating around the social medias, and I thought I want to hear Charlie get all frustrated. So this is why I'm bringing it up.
I'm here for it. All
right, Charlie.
I like it. I like it, Jimmy.
Charlie says no.
Hey, Jimmy, we've always had. You know what the problem is we've always had a 6, and we've always had a backup number 6 that was less than an ideal option, right? Nobody was competing for that spot.
Wouldn't he be the Tim Ream of the group? He'd be the Tim Ream of the midfielders.
We always had
older
Kyle Beckerman.
And experienced.
We had Dax
Charlie doesn't wanna
McCarty
see
playing that role. And then we had Kellen Acosta become that kind of step-in role for a backup 6 to close out games when he was younger. I don't know why we can't.
He's trying to light me up. I am like burning inside as he's naming these people. I absolutely want to.
He's
just
triggering.
pull my head off.
Charlie's triggered right now.
Oh my!
Why can't we have?
You're
why
really
can't we
gonna bring
have,
up Dax McCarty and Kyle Beckerman with a 32-year-old?
Wait,
by the
Yeah,
time the World Cup comes
but
around, he's 36. Come on, man.
Charlie, the World Cup's not in 7 years from now. Like we're talking about a couple,
gosh.
and we're not talking about the World Cup.
He's
We're not
35.
talking about the World Cup. I'm talking about now. Why can't he, like Kyle Beckerman was another player that when you came to 20,
So you'd play him over
14.
Luca Della Torre, because that's basically what you're getting. Luca Della Torre and
Luca Della Torre's not a 6,
dude.
Yeah, Luca Della Torre is a possession-based player
I
like
just-
Ilya
I
Sanchez.
actually-
So you're going to
I-
take Ilya Sanchez is
I
going
want
to
to
be a
add
lone
this as a
6.
segment to the show that we can trigger Charlie. That's a new segment. We just triggered Charlie today.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody.